Good morning. Good morning from where I am. Good day from to wherever you are in the world. I found something on social media the other day that I wanted to read to you because it has so much to do with what we're playing with. Um, so it says this particular, there's a picture of the ocean behind in the ocean, the waves coming into the shore. It says, when we are near water, our brains enter a semi meditative state known as drifting. Drifting is a special form of attention where we are engaged with the world around us, but not focused on getting something done. And I love that. And I thought, oh, well, that's what we're doing with Loop of Awareness is that we're engaging with the world. We're engaging with the world out here and the world in here, but not with the kind of focus of getting something done, which is also a great use of attention, is being able to hone our attention to accomplish something. But the kind of the steady state that we're exploring is being able to enjoy the the flow of attention. And so I wanted to just have you start today by imagining that you're in your own, oh, I love to be by the water. And where I live, we're only 12 miles from the water. And so we really we get the ocean mist and, can sometimes smell the ocean. But I want you to imagine that your attention is moving in that way of just letting it move out and kind of drift into the area around you, and then letting it come inside you and letting your attention kind of wander around. And so, not with any intention of like improving yourself or, getting something done or, registering that something is better today than it was yesterday, but that you're simply letting your attention flow through. So you can start. I always find it, since we're so outward oriented, I invite you to start with letting your attention drift around through your body sensations. So just letting it kind of flow through your body sensations with a kind of, okay, this is going on, and hmm. And then letting your attention come out and just drift into the world around you. And when I do that, I'm also aware that what I consider love scoops doing is really gathering that attention and really bringing it to any area in us that's wanting a little extra attention. So you can bring that in also. So as you're drifting out here, you might see something that's especially beautiful or, makes your breath open, and you can gather that and bring it in specifically to an area of your body that's maybe been complaining a little bit or going, pay attention to me, pay attention to me. So I invite you to add that in now. So you're letting your attention flow like the waves, and then you're gathering something and bringing it in with a love scoop and giving it to any area that would just like a little extra attention. And that can be, like for me, it would be my knees, which have been speaking to me quite a bit in recent months. And talking back is really what I would call it, but they've been speaking to me. And so noticing how your body speaks to you. And just when you do, and when I do a love scoop, I find my body, I can feel my body appreciating that, my body going, oh, she noticed, rather than we think of our bodies as vehicles that carry us around. And instead of that, to let your body be part of the flow. And that the more that we're in flow, the more we can be with and respond to what is happening, both within us and without us. So just pause for a moment and notice if letting yourself drift for a little bit has been refreshing for you. For me, I noticed that just this couple of minutes of doing this has, I feel a more dropping into myself, more spacious inside, more of a feeling of flow. And I'm noticing things around me that were kind of invisible to me. When my attention is focused on getting things done, I think we really do shut out a lot of the environment and we really just notice, it's what they call tunnel vision, in some ways. You only notice the thing that you're focusing on changing or shifting. But if you come to particularly this practice of letting yourself do this, what they're describing as drifting, of letting yourself just flow with, particularly, I love the ocean waves, river, any kind of flow. And water, of course, reminds us that we're at least 80% water. So if we identify first with the water and how things are flowing in us, flowing or not flowing, because when I tune into the flowing, I can feel the places where there's more of a, or there's just there might be a little pinch or a log jam. And then what I notice some of you doing, which I love, is letting your body respond to your attention. Because we learn how to hold ourselves, really much more like a vehicle rather than an organism that's alive and changing and growing and shifting really every moment. And uh, and I think in some ways we do that to make ourselves safe, because if I can kind of make everything stop for a minute, I kind of know where I am. But since everything is in flow all the time, if I'm not flowing, I'm not really with what's emerging, what might want my attention, what might want my attention from out there. So I just love the whole idea of coming at your attention in a more of a free flow kind of a way as one of the skills of attention. And we have given some of our practice to the focus, fanning and focusing. And we all know how to pay attention. But I think very few of us know how to let the drift of attention, like when you're just sitting by the beach and you're watching the waves come and go, and that sense of coming and going, of drifting and flowing is I'm just experiencing the nourishment of that kind of attention. And so I'm happy to add that into our attention practices. And many of you may not know, I'm doing more of a combo plate now with our loops and scoops and bringing in more things. And so I want to right now just go ahead and shift over into the card that I want to share with you today, because it has to do with drifting. I did a little kind of pre-planning here. So I'd love to see the picture. Yes, the picture of the this picture. Let yourself just drift on into it with your attention. Just drift on into it and kind of wander around and notice where your attention goes. And after doing that for a moment, let your attention come back to what gets awakened in your own body from looking at the picture. Your breathing, the sensations that arise, any memories, thoughts that arise from inside of you, things that are familiar. And let yourself do that again. Let your attention kind of drift around and notice where it's going. I notice my breath, just holding my breath just slightly, but as I drift into this, I actually am seeing more, and I'm noticing that there's water in here. And so letting yourself then come back to letting your body respond. And I'd like you to let yourself continue that as you think of it, of drifting into it and then drifting back into your body. And let me read to you: my body sensations and inner experience guide me to know when I am concealing and when I have something to reveal. So I'll say that one once more for you to drift around and experience that. My body sensations and inner experience guide me to know when I am concealing and when I have something to reveal. And then there's the question. So let yourself take a breath, let your body just shift a little bit. I'm doing that all the time, but I realize that a lot of people don't let their bodies respond as well as their minds. In what ways can my body sensations and experiences guide me to know when I'm concealing and when I have something to reveal? In what ways can my body sensations and experiences guide me to know when I'm concealing and when I have something to reveal? And one of the reasons, so we can let the picture go for right now. I love having the chance for us to really focus in on these pictures and delve into the the different things that arise in us from looking at them. And when I was thinking about drifting, letting our without trying to get something done, when I'm using my attention to explore, that my body sensations and inner experiences are really responsive to that kind of attention. And they'll let me know. One of the reasons I chose this card is that concealing what we in conscious loving, what we call withhold, withdraw, and project, is probably the most important use of our attention, if anything I can think of. And because when we conceal, when the whole act of concealing, if you just think of that for a moment and let yourself experience, like, think of something that you might want to say to someone or that you might want to say to yourself, and let yourself start to say that, even something as simple as, oh, I appreciate you, or oh, I'm just appreciating I got a good night's sleep last night. And I'd like you to start to say that and then stop yourself. So just experiment with that, noticing something or starting to say something and then stopping yourself. And I want you to notice that it takes measurable physical energy to do that. It takes energy to conceal. And when I conceal, even if it's a little thing, we might, like the little white lie, there is no such thing as a little conceal. Because when you conceal, you stop the flow. So what I notice is when I conceal, that whole drifting and flowing stops. And you might get a little more rigid. You might feel a little more staticky. You might get heavy. You might feel more dense. But what you're actually doing is some form of contraction. So rather than expansion and flow, you're contracting and holding. And then the result of that, the most important thing is that we get separate. We disconnect both from ourselves, but also from the world and from others, and from that flow of connection, which is so nourishing and so essential for all of us. And so noticing that when I am concealing, and it's not, that sounds like a big heavy word, like concealing. I like, it's really like, we have to take me to court because I'm concealing. But it's actually, I'm stopping something that would allow me to open more to discovery. And if I'm opening to discovery, I'm in that flow of learning and sharing and connecting and collaborating. And so that act of concealing is something, of course, that we're trained to do. We're trained to conceal. Don't say that, that's not nice. Don't stare, don't. And that the act of revealing is what allows us to connect, to discover, to contribute to ourselves and to others. And so for me, noticing the first clues that I have something that I'm concealing, I invite you to wonder about this because it's not an instant kind of discovery, but it's incredibly useful. Like, what are the signals that let me know I'm concealing? That's what this card is about. And that when I catch that, I just go, what's here to reveal right now? And even just saying, oh, there's something's going on here. I haven't quite got it, but even the I wonder, I wonder what I'm wanting to say, what I'm wanting to it's generally a connection. I want to connect in here. I want to connect out here. I may want to ask something. I may want to ask for attention. It's often something that's vulnerable for us. I don't want to reveal that I'm feeling kind of disorganized today, or I had a big upset yesterday and I'm still upset about it, but I can carry on. It's all right. I'm okay. And when we do that, we deprive ourselves of the nourishment of this flow that we're in all the time. And like down at the ocean, there's things floating around in the water all the time, and the flow moves them. And when we're flowing, whatever's going on in us or between us then gets to flow. And so I really wanted you to hear that. And oh my gosh, it's already 9:16. So I want to I also want to do our Presence Connect play today, because that I want to include all three of them. Some of them will be at the front. So I just wanted to do kind of a potpourri now moving forward, because our lives, I think, are more complex right now. So I want to press Presence Connect play. Oh, I love this. Of course, it's all right. So presence is appreciate. And appreciating, the definition that I love is to be sensitively aware of. And that goes so beautifully with the drifting and the flow. It's just giving your sensitive awareness to what's going on in you, what's going on out here with others. And then connect is turning toward. So for me, turning toward is really an antidote to concealing. Because when I'm not revealing to myself or to others, I actually am turning away. I'm turning away from what I'm noticing, what's occurring, what might be occurring. And so I love the whole idea of, when I find myself concealing, how can I turn toward what is going on? Or even if or I might suspect somebody else is concealing. And instead of going after them, like, okay, what's going on? I know you're concealing something. If I simply turn toward and really am available for them to flow and for them to reveal. So am I a space where others can reveal to me? And so my turning toward really gives that permission. So let yourself experiment with, what are your turning toward movements right now? How can you turn toward? For me, it's always opening my body in some way. So finding the places where I might be in a little cringe, or turning toward, turning toward my breathing, letting my breathing expand. So turning toward is something that really fits with what we're exploring today. And then play is also about attention, is letting your attention fan out and then focus like a laser. So when it's fanning out, you could drift and then turn toward, and drifting. And then some part of you, like this little place in my shoulder just went, hello, hello. And so I can turn my attention toward that and give my attention, land it on that with sensitive awareness, and then let myself come back to letting it flow, letting things drift. So those are the things I wanted to share with you today.